Here are the 3 keynotes for the motivational speech titled, "The Day You Decide to Fight Back, Everything Changes." Keynote 1, Awareness, the moment you realize enough is enough. Before any change begins, there comes a moment of awakening, the realization that you've been silent too long, scared too long, and waiting too long. This is not just about fighting others, but about standing up to your own doubts, fears, and excuses. The day you say no more is the day your transformation begins. Keynote 2, Courage, turning pain into power. Fighting back is not about aggression, it's about courage. It's the decision to turn your pain into a purpose, your failures into lessons, and your setbacks into strength. True fighters don't seek easy paths, they build themselves through the fire of resistance and the discipline of persistence. Keynote 3, Transformation, when action redefines your destiny. Once you begin to fight back with focus, with consistency, and with faith, life starts to shift. The people who once doubted you begin to notice. The chains that once held you start to break. You evolve from being a victim of circumstance to the architect of your destiny. Everything changes, not because the world becomes easier, but because you become stronger. Keynote 1, Awareness, the moment you realize enough is enough, 400 words. There comes a day in every person's life when silence becomes heavier than words, when the weight of regret becomes unbearable, and when fear no longer feels like safety, it feels like a cage. That is the day you wake up, look at your reflection, and whisper to yourself, enough is enough. That moment is sacred. It is the first spark of awareness that begins the fire of transformation. You see, change doesn't begin when life gets easier, it begins when you get tired of letting life push you around. It begins when you stop accepting pain as normal and start questioning the limits you once thought were unbreakable. The awareness that you deserve more, not because life owes you, but because you owe yourself, is the foundation of every comeback story ever written. This decision doesn't happen overnight. It brews quietly within you, through years of disappointments, unspoken dreams, and missed opportunities. Then one day, something inside of you shifts. It could be a small event, a failure, a rejection, a loss, but it hits differently. It opens your eyes to the truth that no one is coming to save you. No miracle is waiting in the distance. The rescue you seek is within your own resolve. Awareness is not just the recognition of your struggles, it's the realization of your strength. It's the clarity that the same mind that created your fears has the power to destroy them. When you decide to confront your reality instead of escaping it, you ignite a force that no obstacle can contain. You stop asking why me, and start asking why not me. From that moment, the story changes. Not because the world suddenly shifts in your favor, but because your mindset does. The victim within you dies, and the warrior begins to breathe. You start to see pain as a teacher, failure as feedback, and endurance as a form of wisdom. The day you decide to fight back is not a single day marked on a calendar, it's the day your heart decides to rise, your mind decides to believe, and your soul decides to take control. That is the day everything truly begins to change. Keynote 2, Courage, turning pain into power, 300 words. Courage is not born in comfort, it is forged in struggle. It is the quiet voice that speaks when everything inside you screams to give up. When you decide to fight back, courage becomes your armor, not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. It is standing tall when your knees tremble and choosing faith when the outcome is still unknown. Every person faces moments of deep pain, betrayal, loss, rejection, or failure. But those who rise are the ones who choose to transform that pain into purpose. They don't let their wounds define them, they let their wounds teach them. Pain, when embraced with courage, becomes a teacher sharper than any lesson life could give. It reveals your strength, your endurance, and your hidden fire. Courage is not a single act, it's a daily choice. It's waking up each morning and deciding that you will try again, not because it's easy, but because you believe you're meant for more. When life knocks you down, courage whispers, get up, not because you haven't fallen, but because you still have something to fight for. This strength doesn't come from outside validation or applause. It comes from within, from the realization that every scar you carry is proof that you survived something that once tried to break you. You start to understand that true power doesn't come from controlling life, but from controlling your response to it. The moment you turn your pain into power, you shift from being broken by life to being built by it. And that shift, that courageous decision, becomes the foundation of every victory that follows. Keynote 3, Transformation, when action redefines your destiny, 200 words. Transformation begins the moment courage turns into consistent action. It's when your decisions start to align with your purpose, and your efforts begin to shape your reality. The day you decide to fight back, you stop being a passenger in your own life, you take the wheel, no matter how rough the road ahead may be. Action is what separates dreamers from doers. Every step you take, no matter how small, sends a message to the universe that you are ready to change. Transformation doesn't require perfection, it demands persistence. It's not about waiting for motivation, it's about creating momentum. As you act, your confidence grows. The doubts that once controlled you begin to fade, replaced by a sense of power and direction. Slowly, the impossible becomes possible. You realize that destiny is not written by chance, it's written by those who dare to act when others hesitate. When you choose to rise, to fight, to keep moving even when no one believes, you redefine your story. And that, more than anything else, is what changes everything. Ending, the awakening of a fighter. The truth is, the world does not change when you wish for it, it changes when you decide for it. The day you choose to fight back is not just another date in your life, it becomes the rebirth of your spirit. It's the day you stop surviving and start living with purpose. You are not defined by the storms you face, but by how you stand after they pass. The moment you refuse to bow to fear, the moment you silence doubt and choose action, everything around you begins to shift. Your energy changes, your focus sharpens, and opportunities you once thought were impossible begin to unfold before you. The fight is not always loud or visible. Sometimes, it's silent, fought in the corners of your mind, in moments of weakness, in battles no one else sees. But every small victory counts. Every time you rise when it would have been easier to quit, you're writing a new chapter of strength. So stand tall. Take your pain, your fear, your past, and turn them into power. Because the day you decide to fight back is the day you become unstoppable. And from that day forward, nothing will ever be the same again.